Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our next vlog. Another ruck along with us. We're gonna give you guys some rucking tips. We're gonna give you guys some sweet shots is the plan as well.
Yep.
Welcome to it. This is gonna be a fun one, I think.
We are lifting off from the same spot that we actually did our Go Ruck equipment vlog at. We are starting off here in Wildwood Park in Wildwood, Missouri. And like you just said, we're gonna give you guys some rucking tips throughout the video. I'm sure our personalities are gonna come out in some way because we can't help ourselves.
Yeah, it's like a tit. What do you call it?
A tick? Tick,
Yes.
yes. There you go, already.
Shoot.
And then, yeah, we're gonna try and get some cool shots here as we go along our path. Fall is finally starting to set, although it's almost 90 degrees right now. But gonna try and get some cool aesthetic looking shots with the drone, with the camera and all that good stuff, and try to make this a pleasing video to watch as well. So let's do it. Here we go.
Let's go.
All right, tip number one, as we're going up a giant hill, so maybe tip number one should be avoid hills at all costs.
Or have better cardiovascular endurance in our case.
To be fair, this is a very long hill. Tip number one, guys, as you can see, we both have a different form of weighted vests, weighted rucksacks. He's got more of the backpack style, I've got the full vest style. Equal weights, but the tip here is find a piece of ruck equipment that works for you, whether that's cost effective for you, comfort for you, weight distribution, weight amount, things like that. Find something that works for you equipment wise.
Yeah, this is a really big key, guys, because I'll tell you, when I moved to mine, the comfort was a big aspect for me. Shoulders were killing me on the last piece of equipment I had. This one's made all the difference for me being okay with longer rucks. But you have to consider the cost-effective aspects as well. So that's important, guys.
That's right.
Let's go.
All right, guys, tip number two. We're gonna talk a little bit about progressively overloading your rucks and how to do that.
So first, guys, start with a low weight. That's a really big key. A lot of times people will see, they try to jump in with like 40 plus pounds. And if you've never rucked before, that's a lot of damn weight. So you have to ease yourself in sometimes with that 20 pounds or so.
Right.
And then work your way up distance-wise with that. Then you can jump to the 40 plus pounds after that point.
Exactly. I mean, it's the same idea as strength training in the gym.
100%.
You know what I mean? You can't just go straight to benching 225 like our boy JT is now.
Beast.
You got to start with the bar. You know, you got to start with 10s on there, 25, whatever. So it's the exact same idea. So it's starting lower with the weight and then working up from there. And as you work up, you will get stronger and your cardio will get better.
Yeah,
no
so
doubt.
will your distances too.
Exactly.
And you increase those distances is number one.
And distances will be tip number three.
It will.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. right, guys, as we mentioned, third tip is about distance and about starting low at first on distance and taking your ego out of it. It's the same thing as strength training, as we talked about.
Yes.
Start out with the mile range. Maybe if you're really deconditioned, do the half-mile range.
Yeah.
Mile range will be fine, but as of right now, Warts and I are kind of deconditioned.
Oh, yeah.
So our shoulders are killing us.
And we're at just over 2 miles, and we are we're taking a little break here in the shade because, again, as we mentioned, it's October here in St. Louis and it's almost 90 degrees, so gotta love that. But start with the lower distances, and then, you know, as you get more and more comfortable with a mile, mile and a half, okay, go to 2, 2.5, try 3. And then also on this note, like I've mentioned this plenty of times on the podcast, but don't be afraid to do the same route over and over and over and over again, because then also it's a little bit fun and it's kind of a challenge. You can challenge yourself and see how fast you can get that route done with your weight on.
Yeah.
So that's another tip as far as the distance goes that I've got.
Well, and you can build comfortability with that too.
Absolutely.
It's a big thing as well.
Yes.
Because that makes you more, you know, confident in your abilities, so to speak, whenever you're able to handle a route like that and see the improvements.
Yeah,
so,
and be aware of any hills that you may have in the route. If it's a brand new route and you're not expecting hills, you might get caught off guard. So also you can start with something a little bit more flat, you know, maybe pavement rather than grass like we're on right now, or gravel or rocks or whatever, you know. So maybe do a little bit of scouting of the area that you're gonna go to if it's a new spot. Now, if you don't care about hills or a rough pathway, which most of the time we don't because we've been doing this for so long, then by all means, it's a brand new challenge for you.
Yeah,
so
let's go,
there
guys.
you have it, folks. All right, guys, next tip. First of all, if you see it there's the drone flying by us. Gable, you show
get it?
You might see it, maybe, maybe not. But all right, guys, so next tip here is to have goals. The same as you do in the gym, the same as you do for your other cardio methods, whether you're a runner, you like doing the stairs, whatever it is, you should always have goals. And that includes for rucking, okay? So for example, one for me, like I just mentioned in the last tip, I almost always do the same ruck route, especially when I'm by myself. And I always have goals to try and get my mile time as low as I possibly can. And I've gotten it as low as 13 minutes. And that's kind of cruising with the vest on. And as you know, Gable, like that's up and down some hills and things like that. So that's one of my goals, but it is so important to have goals as you ruck more and more because it also keeps you interested in rucking.
Yep. And guys, another one too, a lot of the times we talk to people about, you know, how to train for a world that might not be as stable as it is now in the United States especially. Well, another good way to do that is to ruck. And if you ruck and do that, that's an awesome way to make sure you're prepared to be able to handle weight if you need to as well. So if you're walking around carrying stuff for your family, or if a disaster strikes of some sort, it's also a good way to be prepared for that in a way outside of just cardiovascular endurance as
Absolutely.
well. So much bigger why sometimes than most people would think, but it's a useful one for sure.
All right, guys, we're back for tip number 5. This one's very short and simple. Go ahead.
Literally avoid hills.
Avoid hills at all costs. Look at this. Look at this. This is like, what, our 4th or 5th giant one of this ruck?
Not to mention, guys, challenging yourselves is stupid anyway.
Yeah, it's not good
like
for you.
You're not going to get better doing it.
No.
or anything like that. It sucks, dude.
Yep.
This sucks.
Tip number 5. No hills. No hills.
final tip, ladies and gentlemen, is find the right attire, clothing-wise, and also footwear-wise. Personally, I have rucking designed shoes from Ruck myself that I purchased at a discount. So that's part of the reason I did that, because it was cost effective for me at the time too. You know, it wasn't $300 for a pair of shoes or something like that. I've also done it in hiking boots and just regular boots too. That works well for me too, but this is about finding what works for you.
Definitely. And then as far as my end, like I've used Noble running shoes a lot actually. Right now I got some Nike running shoes on because we like to support, you know, communist
child labor.
Communist companies and things like that. But like for weather, I have waterproof, like low-cut boots that I've used plenty of times. For snow, I've got more, you know, high-cut snow-type boots with like a steel toe and all that. Like those can be very good. So it's also weather. What's the word I'm looking for? Weather dependent on what you're gonna wear. You know, if it's a beautiful day like it is today for us, like you can get away with, you know, the shoes that Gable has on or the shoes that I've got on. And it goes back to kind of what we did in point number 1, where it's a comfort factor, you know? It's cost effective, it's comfortable, it's gonna get you through the ruck without giving you ankle issues, foot issues, shin splints, knees, low back issues. Yeah, exactly. So you might have to try a few different pairs until you're like, okay, these shoes will help me handle the weight, handle the distance, handle the pace. And that's what I recommend there.
Beautiful. See you in the outro, ladies and gentlemen.
Boom. All right, guys, our aesthetic, cinematic, tip-filled 4+ mile ruck is done for this vlog. Guys, if you're brand new to rucking or you're looking to get into rucking, take into account those tips. You know, it's gonna greatly help you. It's gonna help you get better. It's gonna help your mile times go down. You're gonna be more comfortable and you're gonna be more excited to continue to ruck.
Yep, not to mention, guys, walking is one of the most basic exercise activities there is.
Absolutely.
And honestly, we know a lot of people who need to up the intensity of their walks, and rucking is a great, easy way to do that.
Yes.
It also is just a long-term way of things sucking. So if you don't want to run, this is a good backup to it too. Now, don't make the same mistake we just did and not bring water. We are thirsty as hell right now.
Yes.
So that was a mistake, but learn from our mistakes there.
That's right.
So,
guys, thanks for following along. Until next time, peace and love.
Let's go.
When you haven't had water in over an hour, this is what happens.